Dr. Carter's demise was truly a loss to us all, despite his pushy, overinflated, headline-grabbing ego. At least he completed his work on the Ancient Egypt exhibit before he passed on. Dedicated chap, I'll say that for him.
Any idea who might have wanted to kill him?
The man had enemies crawling out of the woodwork, Miss Bow. Practically everyone's a suspect, if you ask me.
Everyone? Including you?
Well, perhaps I should say everyone except myself, since I was at the fundraising event when Dr. Carter was taken from us. Terrible thing, really. What a tiresome fellow. I take quite a narrow view of fanaticism. I'm really very busy, Miss Bow. I don't have time to cover the same subject twice. There's a fellow who gets the job done. You can't help but admire his industriousness, eh what?
Someone got tired of the man's big ego would be my guess.
Any idea who might have killed him?
Anyone who ever met him. Did you talk to the man? He was so full of himself, there wasn't space for anyone else to be in the room with him.
How do you think he died?
You discovered the body, you silly girl. He died because someone stuck a dagger in his chest, which tends to do that to a man.
What happened to his body after you examined it?
The coroner was at the party. Maybe you met him. When he left, he took Dr. Carter's body with him, ego and all. That man is a human weasel. Stay away from him, lassie. He's got too many brains, that one. He thinks he's better than us all. That woman is downright unnatural, Miss Laura. I'd stay away from her if I were you. She keeps asking me if I've got any scars, don't you know? Now there's a lovely girl. A real lady, don't you know? He's not much of a security guard, if you're asking me. How could I trust a man who allowed a thief to waltz right in here and steal one of the exhibits if he didn't do it himself? He hasn't even got an alibi for the night of the burglary, since he was here alone. I don't like that wee fella. Think he's light in his loafers, don't you know? He seems nice enough, but I wouldn't trust anyone who works on the docks. They're pretty rough company for a wee lass like you. Now there's a slippery old bat. If she's royalty, then I'm Rudolph Valentino. There's an odd one. The man comes over from Egypt to get his precious dagger back. Then someone steals it. Quite a coincidence, if you ask me. And he doesn't have much of an alibi. Oh, he's an okay fella, I suppose. I haven't spent much time with the man.
Good evening, Dr. Smith.
Miss Bow, I did not expect to see you here.
Ah, but I knew you were coming.
You did? How?
How is not important. The question is, why are you here?
I had an appointment with Dr. Carter.
You must be aware that he's dead.
Dead? Why, I had no idea.
Died right here in this room, as a matter of fact. I'm surprised you hadn't heard.
I'm shocked. I don't know what to say.
I bet you don't. Where were you at 8 p.m. when he died?
At the party, of course. You saw me there.
Actually, I didn't see you there at that time.
But you must. Oh, well, there was the phone call.
Phone call.
Mr. Heimlich told me I had a call waiting on Dr. Carrington's telephone. When I arrived in his office, the line was dead. So I returned to the party.
Was Dr. Carrington in his office?
No, he was at the party.
Did Mr. Heimlich tell you who was calling?
No, he didn't take the call, and I don't know who told him about it.
You and Dr. Carter seem to argue a lot about the Dagger of Amon Ra.
We had our differences of opinion, yes.
Did you kill him?
Miss Bow, I am shocked that you would ask me such a thing. I am leaving.
We'll talk again later.
You dare to mention his name to me? He is the blasphemous temple destroyer and tomb robber who stole the Dagger of Amon Ra from Egypt.
Did you kill him?
Miss Bow, I am shocked that you would ask me such a thing. Amon Ra snuffed out Pepin Carter's life as punishment for his crime, and that's all I have to say on this matter. I had hoped that Dr. Carrington would listen to reason. I had made another appointment to speak with him about the return of the Dagger of Amon Ra to its rightful home, but this seems futile since it is no longer in the museum.
Another appointment? You spoke to Dr. Carrington once already?
Only by phone. He denied Egypt's claim to the dagger. It was hoped that a personal visit would convince him of our sincerity, but the situation has changed since then. Ah, a delightful girl. I keep asking her if she'd like to be my second wife. She is so very feminine and seductive and charming and attractive and...
Okay. I get the idea.
You should try to be more like Yvette. Men would like you more that way.
Men like me just fine the way I am.
That's what you think. I find you quite annoying. Dr. Miklos is very well educated for a woman. I would like her more if she were an Egyptian. Heimlich is that annoying guard who works here. His fanatical devotion to his occupation is admirable, but he seemed lacking in his mental capacities. Ramses I was pharaoh during the 19th dynasty, from 1307 to 1306 BC, but Ramses II made more of an impact on ancient Egypt. Ramses II was responsible for gargantuan construction projects which left his mark on the face of Egypt for thousands of years. I admire his great works and hope to emulate his feats someday.
Actually, I was referring to Ramses Nagia.
Nigeria's never heard of him. No? I mean, yes. English is such a difficult language. I'm not familiar with this person. I have only met her briefly, but she seems to have a sincere concern about my problems. A charming woman.
The corpse is wearing a black tuxedo jacket. At the moment it's a poor fit, especially around the neck. Looks aren't everything. Looks. The man's neck has been roughly cut. How ironic. After untold millions of years, this pterodactyl has claimed a new victim, a male specimen of Homo sapiens, which has been pinned to the floor by the pterodactyl's monstrous beak. This is one of the 3 wires that formerly suspended the pterodactyl from the ceiling. You examine the free end of the wire. It's been clipped cleanly with a slight bend a centimeter or 2 beneath the cut end. This was no accident. You yank on the wire. It's very strong and firmly attached to the pterodactyl. Don't touch it. You search the pockets and find nothing but the usual lint. You decline to take the jacket with you since it apparently contains no clues and is skewered to the floor anyway. Your careful observation reveals that this is a rented tuxedo bearing the marks of repeated alterations. There is a stain above one pocket. A whiff reveals the strong, fresh scent of champagne. The blood has begun to clot, darkening and thickening. It's difficult to judge whether or not this blood is primarily from the neck wound or the point where the pterodactyl's beak impaled the body. Or both. Though it hardly seems appropriate, you marvel at the intricacy of the construction. The pterodactyl has been covered with authentic animal hide of some sort, stretched over a rigid framework. There's nothing suspicious about it, however. You search the left arm for clues, but come up empty-handed. Your careful observation reveals that this is a rented tuxedo. You find a large grease stain on the right sleeve. You give it a quick whiff and identify the scent of turkey hors d'oeuvres. You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office.
Well, lass, we've known each other a long time, and I'm not ready to get married yet. But I know one thing for sure. I love you.
Oh, my great detective, this feeling, it is mutual.
Just be keeping in mind that I'd have to kill you if I ever found out you were sleeping with someone else.
What? Oh, you are to be making the little joke, no? Your sense of humor, it is magnifique.
I've already had one bad marriage, and it won't happen again. It's been a long time since I've been able to trust anyone as much as I trust you.
This is very flattering, my love. I am never to be knowing someone like you either. You are so good and so kind.
Well, I try, lass. I try. It's not easy being a cop in this town. The place is lousy with criminals, even in the police force.
Oh no, how terrible.
Sure, and it's a hard thing when a cop goes bad. I've seen it happen. A cop spends years fighting crime and watching the hoods get rich while he risks his life to make just a few bucks. The first time a cop takes a bribe, it bothers him. Oh, but then it gets easier.
You are such a strong man, my Ryan. You would never be accepting the payoff, no?
Sure, and I'm shocked that you'd even say such a thing, Yvette.
I'm sorry, my love. I should have known better.
You'll have to show me how sorry you are. Kiss me.
Gladly, my love. How can I resist?
You don't hear anything. Oh, excuse me.
Here now, be off with you then.
Looking a little closer, you detect a seam along the sculpture's otherwise flawless neck. Yes, there is definitely a seam in the statue's neck. It seems to go most of the way around. There's a tiny hinge on the back of the neck. Oh dear, the light bulb blew out. You hope someone will invent a reliable light bulb one of these days. The glass covering the alcove is marked with the words, "For emergency use only." Beyond the glass is a shadowy object resting in an alcove. Perhaps it's a lantern, although you can't tell for certain.
Was ist los? What do you think you're doing? There's no emergency here. Nicht gefingerpoken mit der Lantern.
You pick it up and place it in your purse. A Ruhmkorff coil lantern with a hand crank on the base. Jeepers, Laura, not in front of witnesses. The skull of the long-extinct horned rhesus.
Oh, good evening, Miss Ball.
Hi, Dr. Miklos. I'm sorry if I startled you.
Oh, that's okay. I enjoy being startled. And please, call me Olympia.
Okay, Olympia. You enjoy being startled?
It gets the blood flowing. I love it. I was just trying to find Daisy, my ferret. She usually has the run of the museum, but it's time for me to feed her.
And you think she might be in here?
Well, she's been spending a lot of time in here lately for some reason. She probably likes the unusual smells. Who knows?
Can I help you look for her?
Thanks, but I'm sure I can find her. Would you mind leaving me for a while so she'll come out of hiding?
Certainly. Sorry to disturb you. An office door. The intercom crackles and you hear,
Ernie, it's Olympia. The release valve in number 13 seems to be jammed. Take a look at it when you have a chance.
This curious device is a lasso at the end of a pole used for the humane capture of snakes in the wild, or wild snakes, or something like that. You pick it up and place it in your purse. Best to leave this room right where it is. Ernie's index to the stored items in the alcohol vats. Current vat contents, Alcoholic Preservation Lab. 1. Koala bears. 2. Turtles. 3. Snakes. 4. Hippo. 5. Ground sloth. 6. Skunks. 7. Loch Ness Monster. 8. Ostrich. 9. Lemmings. 10. Unicorn. 11. Creature from the Black Lagoon. 12. Rats. 13. Warthogs. 14. King Edward of Daventry. A dusty specimen examination table with a drain at one end. A wooden workbench loaded with many empty glass containers that smell of alcohol, although one of them is full of an oily liquid. The desk is dusty, giving you the impression that it's not used very often. A Ruhmkorff coil lamp. A magnifying feels like. Closer examination reveals these words on the base of the lantern. Ruhmkorff's coil consists of a coil of copper wire insulated by a silk covering surrounded by another coil of fine insulated wire in which a momentary current is induced when a current is passed through the inner coil from a voltaic battery charged by a hand crank. When the apparatus is in action, the gas becomes luminous, producing a white and continued light. The M. Ruhmkorff, an able and learned chemist, discovered the induction coil. In 1864, he obtained the great French prize for this ingenious application of electricity. Not only that, but he was a great dancer too.
You already asked me this, Miss Bow. Ah, Monsieur Pipin, it is so sad. Such a great man. To die in such a way makes my heart break, no? We had not talked much until this evening, when he finally had the time during the party. He was going to meet me after the party so we could get to know each other. You already asked me this, Miss Bow. Ah, Monsieur Leech, he is a very honorable man, no? Of everyone here, I trust him most of all. His pay, it is not very good, but I will fix that when I become the museum president someday. In the meantime, he must do the extra work outside to pay his bills.
It sounds like you're quite fond of Mr. Leech.
He has many of the problems, but he is capable of handling them. I help him as much as I can. Dr. Smith, he is very concerned about the dagger. He has been trying to get it back from Dr. Carter ever since he arrived.
Do you think he could have stolen it?
Perhaps it is possible. Then he could have stayed around so we would not be suspecting him, no?
Do you think he could have killed Dr. Carter?
I saw him just before the time of the murder, but I did not see him do it. Dr. Carter, he was in the good physical shape, no? And Dr. Smith, he He is big, but he is also the strong one. But I am not one to spread the rumors. You already asked me this, Miss Bow.
This is the Life Mask exhibit. You haven't seen this many dead-looking, expressionless faces since your accounting class at the university. The head looks like that of a North American Plains Indian. You've read many exciting stories about the American Indian. Oh no! That doesn't look like a life mask! Oh no! It's Ziggy's head! It's Ziggy's head! Oh no! You reach out sadly towards Ziggy's severed head, then draw away. He's clearly beyond all help.
What is going on in here?
I'd say you've got some explaining to do, young lady. Why are you screaming?
I found Mr. Ziggy's head.
Very odd how you are always finding the bodies, Miss Bow. I think we should be going back to my office and interrogating you now.
Here now, Wolf. The young lady just found a man's head. Give her a moment before you get out your thumb screws then.
Thank you, Mr. O'Reilly.
Don't thank me, lass. I'm not saying you didn't kill the man. I'm just trying to restrain Mr. Heimlich's enthusiasm for his job.
But I will get results. Let me talk to her privately.
Now I realize you're just trying to help, Wolf, but I think we can learn what we need from the lass without harming her.
She could lie and you'd never know it. You Americans are too soft on your criminals.
I just walked in and found his head, that's all.
Well, Mr. Heimlich does have his point, lass. It's a wee bit curious that you keep showing up at the murder scenes before anyone else. How do you explain that, then?
Just lucky, I guess.
Well, you do seem a wee bit small to be sawing off a man's head, I'll say that much.
Thanks.
This Fräulein could have had help. Or maybe she's very clever.
Or maybe you're trying to pin the murders on her, so you can find the murderer and save your job, eh?
My job is quite secure, Herr O'Reilly.
Oh, really now? A security chief who allows burglars to steal the exhibits, then overlooks several murders happening under his nose. I'd think twice about your security methods if I was running things here.
This is hardly the place to discuss my methods, Herr O'Reilly. We have a suspect to interrogate.
Correction. We have a murder scene to investigate. We can talk to the lass later when she's had a chance to calm down.
Thank you again, sir.
You're a sturdy one, I'll say that much for you. One scream and you've got your head together again, so to speak. Just don't try to leave the museum.
I can't leave. I'm locked in.
Good. We won't have to worry about you then. All right, Wolf. We've got work to do. Let's go get the crime scene tools.